Hi everyone, and welcome to today's SmartDocs 360 launch webinar. We're very excited to show you what we've built and get it into your hands. As per all of our webinars, just a bit of housekeeping. Today's session will be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you do need to drop out at any time or would like to show it to your colleagues, you will receive a link to the recording. Any questions you do have at any point in time, please enter them into the Q&A panel, and one of our team members will get back to you and we'll come to Q&A there at the end. So for those I remember for, my name is Jeevan Tokhi and I'm joined today by Daniel Tramontana. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you, Jeevan. Looking forward to today.
People can read, I think, our titles on screen, which is but no, Daniel and I will be obviously introducing the product, going a bit of back and forth. I'm going to show a live demo, and then Daniel's got a special announcement there at the end. We've joined by a few BGL team members, James, Lynn, and Harrison, who are logged in online to answer any questions you do have. So as I mentioned, type in any questions you do have, and we'll answer those in. I know a question everyone's going to ask is how much. Daniel's going to cover that at some point, so don't just hold
Absolutely.
on. So Daniel, I'll pass over you to introduce.
Yeah, no, look, before I get going and before I get into a little bit of the detail, I suppose what I'd really like to start off with is just to take a moment to thank you for your time for joining us today. We are very excited by what we're going to show you and what we're going to be able to put into your hands. And this is just an accumulation of some great efforts across the BGL business, and the ability to act on foresight and the ability to act on opportunities and moments that we know we can use our technology and what we've built to make your lives better and ultimately the experience you deliver to your clients better. And we're very proud of SmartDocs 360, its capability and what it's going to be able to do. But before I just go into my 3 points, I'm just going to flick back to Jeevan for a second. And Jeevan, I know that we've been on this journey for a long time together, and the technology around SmartDocs, a lot of the capability and the technology already exists within our products, right? And we've been using it for a long, long time. But what is it that we're doing with SmartDocs? It's a little bit different than the traditional methods that we've been using it in.
It's you take my thunder. That's on the next slide there, but yeah. So a lot of what we built, I'll even show this on screen while people talk about it. So for our SMSF admin software, we needed the ability to read a bank statement where we couldn't get a direct data feed. So that would exist in any sort of accounting platform that we do have. So James and the team set about this task back in, I think, 2019 to start of 2020, as it says there on screen, and really went about like, how can we actually do this? So the most common method out there, which has been around since the 1970s, is using technology known as OCR, so similar to that as a photocopy, to take a copy of that image. But the biggest problem with that is you then need to build a template for every single, let's say for bank statements, every single bank in Australia. And then as soon as the banks change that template, add advertising, change where the interest rates are, that template fails. So we combine OCR with AI to detect all the relevant fields and extract that data out. So the beauty of that is we can build one AI model that captures all the data for every single bank in Australia. We don't need to create a separate template per bank.
And the beauty about this is that many of our users have had this technology available in the product for a long time. And those who do use it would have seen the huge benefit of it, because we're now able to not only grab data for things like bank statements, but we're able to email documents to the fund. We're able to extract data from those documents. We're able to automatically match those documents against transactions, and then we can push them through to things like work papers. And this leads me to my first point, and the thing that I want you to think about while Jeevan is going through this with you are really these 3 points. One, experience, best practice adoption. And one of the things that I'm working with the exec team in the business and some of the senior leaders within the business will be these 3 points. Now, when it comes to the technology that you use, the technology that you embrace, there are many, many, many different ways of using the technology, the way you absorb the technology, the way that you adopt many aspects of the technology. But what I want you to think about in this moment as we put this together, we're trying to solve this puzzle, or this piece of the puzzle, which is the one experience, being what is a standard method that we can get data from any document and convert it into a way that is meaningful, that is relevant, and that can be applied across multiple platforms. And I'm so pleased that what the team has built when it comes to this whole data extraction model and the way that they've built the product is that the web experience is very similar to the phone experience. So what I would like you to look at and look for when we're going through this presentation is just how we've been able to adopt one experience, one method of being able to extract your data, regardless of your entity type, regardless of its use, because it's so adaptable and it's so flexible that its use expands and extends well beyond just an accounting platform. The other thing that I'd like to just speak very briefly on is the best experience. And this is a twofold. So we want you to think about and adopt technology that gives you and your users the best experience internally, but then also gives your clients the best experience externally when dealing with you. Because what the whole point of this is to really create a method of communication and exchange of documents that is simple for your clients, is simple for you to be able to manage, and it's simple for you to be able to then use and apply or bring into your software products that you want to bring it into. So think about one experience for bringing data in, the best experience for getting that data, using that data, importing that data. And then thirdly, best practice adoption. And what you're going to see here is that what we're putting in your hands is what we believe is best practice and absolutely foundational to when it comes to you driving efficiencies within your business and the way that you go about the work that you do. And what I love about this technology, because I've seen it at play in the Simple Fund 360, and it's also available in Simple Invest 360, is that we can now move to almost an environment of zero-touch processing if you have all the right, documents, you have the right rules, you have the right system set up. But when I think about this, I just get so excited because we can then start to make this a portable solution that can be used across multiple platforms, multiple systems. And I'm going to hand over to Jeevan in a moment, but one of the things that I speak on Jeevan's behalf here also, we have the privilege and the honor of being able to demonstrate this to you, but I can't go on any further without acknowledging the incredible work of the team and the associated team members in and throughout the business that have allowed us to get it to this point. And as part of this process that we go through and demonstrating the product to you and explaining it to you in detail, sit back, look at the benefits that it can really bring to you, and then I look forward to rejoining towards the end of the seminar just to make a very special announcement and putting something in front of you that we know that you're going to not only embrace, but hopefully run with. So, Jeevan, I'm going to go back to you. I know that I do talk a bit, and you warned me not to talk too much, so hopefully that met your standards.
Just.
I expected no other answer.
Absolutely. So everyone will get a link to the recording just to, I can see a couple of questions coming through, and everyone will get a copy of the slides as well. So we will send that to all attendees. So as we kind of touched on, obviously we've built a lot of prototypes, released in our SMSF admin software, Simple Fund 360, and that sort of technology we've continued to develop obviously on the SMSF side. And we had a lot of, our clients, especially accounting firms, approach us and say, hey, we'd love to use this same technology outside, for example, for our small business clients with Xero. So that's where we've gone about, obviously, in building this. So it's the same technology we use across all our products. So this SmartDocs technology is used throughout Simple Fund 360, CAS 360, and now, obviously, SmartDocs 360 there on a standalone. So as I sort of touched on, our experience with using this, as you can see down the bottom, we've processed over 12 million documents and over 1.65 million bank statements down below. We support multiple different AI models that, some will be utilized here within SmartDocs, some outside. But I think some points of difference to other technology out there is we can do bank statements, obviously, real time. We can do a lot of things such as property settlement statements, utility bills that we can extract different information from, council rates, etc. as well, which I'll show as we get through to the live demo going forward. So how it works, so like most data capture and extraction apps, it works pretty simply. We need to capture the data, so we need to get the documents into the application itself. The application will do something with those particular documents. You may need to help categorize them, or just review the auto categorization. You may need to make sure that the extraction has been 100% complete and extracted correctly. And then obviously you've got the productivity there in terms of how you actually utilize the data that we extract.
Jeevan, I think it'd be really useful here to just explain that the model gets smarter as we push more documents through it, and there'll be less work involved for our users to have to get the data to a point where it's absolutely useful, pretty much without doing any tweaking.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's we review any issues that do take place and do correct those models. So we're constantly refining the models. It's not a set and forget type thing. We actually have measurements on each individual field. So I'll take the bank statement, for example. Let's say extracting something simple like the BSB. We've got a confidence rating, and that's a threshold that's set that it needs to be over a certain confidence level in order to extract that field. Anything that's below that, it will not extract. So we're constantly refining that, increasing that tolerance, and actually reviewing any of the issues that do take place. We allow feedback where you've actually something hasn't extracted correctly. We encourage you to send that feedback straight through, and we obviously constantly, will refine the model and push that out. So it's a constant and evolving learning. It's not a set and forget type process. Okay, so I'm going to demo all these going through, but obviously with SmartDocs 360, you can obviously, there's the various models that we utilize for data extraction. There's the auto categorization of transactions, so where you are exporting that data obviously out into a software package such as Xero. You have the ability there to search across your documents. So we do OCR all data, and you can actually use it to search across every single document for a keyword. We have mobile app on both Apple and Android. So mobile app is supported obviously for both, and you can use that for extraction. You can categorize on the app and even publish directly there on the app. And obviously things like invoices and bills, you can publish into Xero, but where you're not utilizing that and would like another system, you can still export that data out to CSV and utilize that obviously accordingly. Getting documents in, obviously it's very important. So I'm going to demo this, that, to get documents in, you can upload it directly using the UI, you can email documents, or you can use the mobile app. It doesn't matter which method you're utilizing, as long as we're obviously getting the documents in. We can push obviously a lot of documents, and we sync a lot of information back and forth utilizing their Xero. So, for example, invoices, receipts, utility bills can all be pushed through. Rental property statements can be pushed through. Settlement statements can be pushed through, and bank statements we can export out into a pre-coded CSV that can be imported directly there into Xero or QuickBooks.
Jeevan, I know that at this point I'd just like to ask you a question. It's an important one. Do we have to send just one page at a time, or can I send multiple?
It's good question. So we can actually, as per we pushed out an update last night, and as per that update, we can now split documents. So I'll show that in the live demo.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because I know it will come up as a question, and clients I know would like to send things through in batches rather than just PDF after PDF, and like in a singular form. And I think that what you pushed out last night, knowing that is such a powerful feature.
And I saw questions come through there from Simon. Does it work there with QuickBooks? So QuickBooks, we've got some basic features, but we're actually building that out. So over the next few months, we will have QuickBooks up to the same level as what we had with Xero. Xero, we've got obviously a lot more integration features. So I'll demonstrate using Xero today, but we are looking to incorporate those with QuickBooks is the next one off the ranks that we're looking to build the same sort of feature set out as well.
But we could use the CSV, couldn't we, Jeevan?
You can, but it's obviously not as efficient as we.
Correct. Yes, so CSV option is available, but it won't be as automated at this point. Correct. But we will get there.
So as I mentioned, in terms of different document types, so in terms of bank documents, you've got obviously bank statements, credit cards, loan docs, as you can see on there. Property settlement statements, we can create a manual journal there in Xero with the actual document attached, so it actually extracts there to the line items. Invoices, receipts, and utility bills. If you've used any sort of any other document capture apps, it's obviously very similar to those others going through. Our counter rates, we can extract the data, and we're just looking to improve that a little bit further before we can directly push that through. And just recently we built out one for rental property statements. So I guess if you've got any of your clients that have obviously got property within a business account or utilizing that, obviously that's where we can go through and obviously have that real point of difference. So rather than actually just talking about PowerPoint, let's go through and actually look at a live demo. As I mentioned, if you've got any questions, just enter them there into the Q&A. So what you can see there on screen, sorry, Daniel.
No, sorry, Jeevan. I'm just monitoring the questions. A couple came through for MYOB. What are we doing in that space, Jeevan? And I mean, obviously the CSV import, if they can support it, we can still bring the CSV into any accounting product.
Yeah. We will work on MYB, so we're really just tackling one at a time. So we've just almost about completed Xero. We're doing QuickBooks, as I mentioned, next, and then MYB will be following that. So we're sort of doing one at a time rather than spreading ourselves too thin.
But we can use the CSVs that are generated if MYB supports a CSV import. It just won't be as automated. The next our next focus will be the QuickBooks, and then we do MYB and look to automate those.
So as you can see here, I've got a whole bunch of different entities there on screen. You'll see the various ones going through. So as I mentioned, one way of getting documents in, and I've got my test one here, is actually to email through. So as you can see, as I mentioned before, you can actually go through into your email, go through and attach a document. So I'm going to attach this particular one here, and actually then utilize an email to send that through. So you could have multiple documents in the email, or it can just be emailed one by one. Obviously, you can forward those emails and send those through accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to go through and select my my particular entity here. So obviously the other way of getting documents in is to upload it directly in here. So you can see going through here, I've got some existing documents that are uploaded prior, but I want to go through with this particular one here. And I might actually go through and upload some bank statements that I'll go through and upload those in. Again, multiple files and bring those through. So again, the third method, which I'm not going to demonstrate live, I've got a video just at the end there, is obviously via the mobile apps and come through and push. As you can see, when the documents do come through, they're automatically then analyzed. So as we have the various AI models, the system automatically detects what type of document that is. So is it a bank statement? Is it an invoice? Is it a property settlement statement? And classifies it first. That then determines how the system determines what document, so what data should be extracted from that particular document.
So Jeevan, while we're waiting for this, just how you emailed the documents to a particular entity.
Mm-hmm.
What is the email address that users would use to bring it into the SmartDocs 360 platform?
Yep. So here on the entity selection screen, so there's all the entities. Each entity has a unique email address. So as you can see there, so it's all done client by client. So as you can see, each of your clients will have a unique one there. And you can obviously just copy that, save it accordingly, whatever needs to be done from that perspective.
And clients have got a couple of options there while we're waiting for that document to either send this to their client to interact with, or alternatively, you can have the document sent to you by the client, and then you can send them to that email address. So there is other ways of getting data through other than having to use the unique email address within the SmartDocs 360 platform.
Okay, so let's go through and have a look further. So first of all, I'm going to go through in terms of this particular entity. We're going to go through and set up Xero. So obviously we connect, like a lot of apps, through to the Xero API that you'll need to go through and authorize and connect SmartDocs 360 through to. So, SmartDocs 360 is also listed on the Xero App Store, so you can find a connection that way. And that's an option if you'd like your clients to directly purchase this product themselves, that you don't want to get involved in it. That's an option there. That's obviously smoother if they are an existing Xero client. So when that actually connects, it actually goes through and syncs the details. What we actually do on a couple of different levels is, first of all, the chart of accounts and bank accounts in terms of categories. So we download all these from Xero. these will automatically sync through. And then we obviously connect to the Xero webhook. So anytime you add, change, do anything within Xero in terms of these accounts, those accounts obviously are automatically reflected, usually within 30 seconds within SmartDocs 360 there as well. Also then across on the other side is really around contacts on a very similar level in terms of your contacts that they're also synced on that same level. So you can actually go through you can actually go through there and then those contacts will be synced through and across and automatically brought through as well. On the same basis, anytime that you go through and automatically go through and update a contact, add a contact, whatever, that'll be automatically synced. You can also on both screens trigger a manual sync. If for some reason the automatic hasn't taken place, you can always trigger that as well, because there'd have to be an exception to the rule, but obviously with technology these things do happen. Let's go to the focus now in terms of the actual documents coming through. So in terms of the various documents, as I said, mentioned through, what you'll see there first of all is a type. So that type automatically then determines what kind of document it is, as you see going through there. So you can see here various documents going through. So let's go through and have a look at a couple and how these work. So first of all, I've got here is a bank statement. So this is an example here I've uploaded, I think by mistake was for an SMSF, but you can see various documents here. The various transactions here on the right-hand side that have been extracted. As you sort of, it's a bit hard to see here with the projected image, but as you highlight I'll click on each row, you can see it highlighted there on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side image, you can also see all the fields that it's extracted relevant from the actual PDF. So you can actually see in any of the documents, has any information been missed or not brought through accordingly. So let's go through. Actually, I'll go back one step. Going back. Okay, so in the various documents, obviously, depending on how many documents you have here on screen, you may want to filter through and have a look. So as I mentioned, you can actually filter in various ways. So for example, I might just want to filter here if I just want to see my bank statements. So you can go through and filter accordingly. You can actually search. So it could be searching for a specific word. So if I type in, the word card, it's going to find that obviously within the actual document there going through. I can actually go through and then add various filters. So it could be the actual status of the document, and the two different filters can be combined as well. So you've got a few options there in terms of filtering and bringing those through. So let's have a look at, first of all, the bank statement one, which I uploaded. You can see all the information's extracted. What it's also doing on the same time, it's actually, as you can see there, is trying to match the transactions there across some of the existing invoices that I do have there in place there accordingly. And then obviously with the information, it should be all correct. If for some reason the bank statement one is not correct, please let us know, and obviously we'll fix particular model. It happens periodically where the banks do change something and it could potentially break, but it really depends on on the banks, but it's pretty rare on that cases. So to really, let's say in terms of pushing this to Xero, you've got the ability to export. So by default, because I've synced this to Xero, it's got Xero there selected by default, but you've got a few different options there. That we've got our custom CSV, we've got a CSV pre-coded there with categories. Very similar here with Xero. You've got here QuickBooks Online one. You've got a default Xero CSV or a Xero, again, set pre-coded with the category as well. So the category, you can see that it's utilized there for matching. Down on the table down below is where you can actually go through and correct those. So if I just highlight that a little bit further, you can see there it's predetermined categories, either using the actual invoice or the data extracted, and obviously you can edit those items and change if needed going through. But let's just leave it as is for the moment. I'm going to go through, export that out to CSV. Okay, that'll download then to your computer. Then within the actual document itself, once it's actually downloaded, I'm going to move that accordingly. I can then import it then into Xero. So if I go straight there, I'm obviously logged into Xero. It'll take you directly here to the bank screen. One thing you do need to hear, because we don't have control over it, is we do have, obviously, well, the business does have multiple bank accounts. You will need to go through and go through this like that. You will need to go through and select which bank first. We don't have control over that particular option. So again, going through, I can complete that import, and those transactions do come through there automatically, obviously ready for matching. Going back in here, so I can actually mark that as, reviewed, and go on to the next one. So as you can see now, the status there of the various documents that are on the right-hand side. If I just wanted to see the documents which are not reviewed, you can obviously utilize the filters for that accordingly. Let's have a look, couple others here. So in terms of the bank statements, counter rates. The counter rates one here I won't demonstrate. We actually it's a bit of a work in progress in terms of pushing it through. But this one here, you can obviously, actually it's been selected as a utility bill, so we'll go through it at the moment. But we do have a counter rate ones. And what we're doing is actually extracting the installments where it is a council bill, and actually go through and do that accordingly. So where the actual model is incorrect, so in this case, you could push it through as a utility bill if that's how you'd like it to go through, if you just like a single one. Let's say if you wanted the line items and you go, no, I wanted to extract as a council rate, you can actually select the correct type there, or change the type, and then it'll actually reprocess that document and extract again. So you do have the ability to go through and do that accordingly. Obviously for invoices, I'm going to skip over that one. Here's a good one in terms of a petrol receipt, we'll say, that it's actually been pushed through. I've actually pushed this one through already, but into Xero, but you can actually see it's extracted out. It doesn't matter that the document was sideways, it's still being able to obviously read the relevant fields and bring that through. Here's a tax invoice for computer information going through in terms of the information. So let's go through into terms of some of the line item information. So as you can see, it's selected in terms of invoice. It's or it will try to automatically select the supplier, but you can also select it off the drop down and the information going through. So you've got the options down below, depending on how you'd like to record this in, say within Xero, is would you like all the line items which is extracted by default, or you could just remove those and have one single line item if you'd like going through. You can obviously select whether it's been paid or not. If you are selecting this, it has been paid, you need to obviously select which bank account it is. And obviously you can then, if everything is correct, you can go through and publish that into Xero. And you can see the button there will automatically submit that through. If I open it there into Xero, you can see the bills being pushed through. You can see the document there on the left-hand side. All the relevant information there is extracted. They're on a line-by-line item. The categories have been pre-selected and obviously submitted through. So it's still going through there. Because this one hadn't been paid, it's gone through there as obviously a a draft bill going through, ready for approval.
Jeevan, this is amazing, and I'm sure that the people watching see the huge benefit in this. But we've had a question around rental statements. Does it work similar? Right? You've got one amount, then you've got all the disbursements, and what you've just showed here is what you can actually do with a rental statement. Correct, Jeevan?
Yep. So where's my?
I probably jumped to another one of your demo.
Essentially, yeah. So there's two different ones, two different models that we have here. So one's a property rental statement. So this is really a statement received from an agent. So on the same basis that it'll extract all the relevant amounts, it'll go through and extract the line items, as you can see here down below. And obviously it will select the categories. The most important thing is obviously making sure that the category selected is correct. So I can see even some ones here where, say, the lease renewal field, this is rent and probably should be an agent field. It's probably incorrect there. And potentially this one here where it's incorrect. So just making sure that obviously these are correct accordingly. So if I'm happy with that now, I can save that and again publish that into Xero. Oops, I'll select that to go through. Okay, and publish that through into Xero. Okay, so again, on a very similar basis, it'll push through that into an amount received. As you can see there, you've got a line items there accordingly and obviously push through. In terms of the, I'm going to In terms of line items, so the other one, which is, I think, where's my document missing? So maybe I'll upload this in because it looks like I'm missing it. Okay, so let's property settlement statement, and I'm going to load in. Okay, and then what I'm also going to load in is this scanned one as well.
Jeevan, just while that comes through, a really good question is how accurate is the AI prediction on the categories? And I think we answered that a little bit before, that the more we send through, the better the more the system trains itself, the better the outcomes we get as we send more information through to SmartDocs 360.
Yeah. So it's it's actually a learning algorithm, so we'll get better. I suppose the more categories are selected. I would say, look, it's hard to give an exact percentage. How accurate is it?
That's right.
So we just, especially as we're just launching the product and we haven't had the breadth of data through that we'd like. So I'd like to sit there and say, hey, it's 100% accurate. That's obviously not the case. So
but with time, it will get closer and closer to that, to a very high percentage.
So here's the other one where I think, Daniel, you mentioned about the property settlement statement that was pushed through. So again, on a very similar basis, that it'll come through, it'll extract the relevant information there on the right-hand side. And it's a matter of just again making sure the categories are correct. I think just scanning through, most of these are reasonably good. Going through there. So loosely, you can obviously select, would you like that as posted or draft there within Xero, and then obviously publish it in very similar, and that'll go through there as a manual journal entry. As you can see, it's pushed through there as draft. You can still obviously edit things within Xero, and that's in there accordingly. So that's a real time saver, especially around those with property settlement statement there as well. Going back through to the other one. So that was the council. Okay, so I'm just going to push this back this way. So the other documents, I'll just wait for that one to come back. So with some other documents they're going through, that'll going to hopefully utilize that one in just a second. Let's go through and have a look here at the document scan. So as I mentioned, I won't go through demoing these other ones, but these are just other sort of invoices and receipts that have been extracted out that you can actually see goes through, extracts relevant information, depending on the photo, depending on the type, whatever it might be. It'll go through and obviously extract that out accordingly. So I guess, yeah. So going through, with that line items that go through, you can see down below this one, I haven't gone through the details, but you can see there, we do check, do the line item amounts, for example, add up. If they don't, we're displaying an error there. So it might be the case of whether, just loosely there, whether the tax has been included or not. And obviously that can be adjusted if needed. In terms of this, I was going to say, where, I've sort of by default done this one, but where a document, we can't tell what it is, it will come through there as an other type. So I wanted to actually go through and show that accordingly. So very, very high level, I guess that's going through and actually showing those relevant ones. For other documents as well, as I said, like in terms of, if we go back to, sorry, some of the others, like the example. So you got the relevant ones here, where the information, I guess, has been extracted out. You can actually, by default, export here in bulk as well. So I could go through and extract everything. So I guess those that mentioned that were using a product such as MYB, which isn't as integrated, you do have the ability, once you've gone through and reviewed everything in bulk, to come and go through here and extract. We are looking at the ability to bulk import categories and contacts via CSV as well. That's not something we have currently, but that is coming soon. It is something that's obviously relevant for those that are not using and going through with Xero. In terms of user accounts, so we can go through, obviously with the users, if you're an existing BGL user, you'll be familiar with this process. You can invite, obviously, unlimited users going through. So very similar to our other products, you've got various roles that you can go through and select and customize. You can create your own custom roles as well. So, yeah, which you can obviously enable or disable items going through here. So obviously for anyone who you'd like access in terms of the mobile app, they need to be invited as a user first. So those user roles can go through and obviously categorize there accordingly. This is the first product where we've done this. You can actually create groups of clients as well and invite users to a group of clients. So let's say you're a multi-city office, this is probably the best example. You've got I think I've got it here, a Melbourne office and a Sydney office. You could group your funds via that, or I shouldn't say funds, entities via that, and invite, let's say, staff for that particular office only, so they can only access those particular entities where that sort of information is sensitive. Obviously, where you are inviting a client, you would go through, invite their email address, last name, etc., selecting what role they do have, and you're assigning an entity. So a user can have access to one particular entity, they can have multiple entities, whatever they might be going through. Our login page does have a sign in with zero option as well, for those that obviously are zero clients as well, that you can go through and utilize those accordingly. Going through for those ones, I think I'll show most of the things. With most of our products, obviously going through, you do have the support and I said feedback items built in as well, so you can submit that through that received here directly at the team. So in terms of the live demo, that's most of the things I wanted to show. So as I mentioned, we do have a mobile app that's built for both iOS and also for obviously the Google Play Store as well, that you can utilize to each capture receipt. So this could be either yourself, it could be inviting your actual client to actually access, to actually go through. You do have the option, so you could use it purely for data capture. You can also categorize, and most of the fields that you saw on screen on the web version are strictly there on the mobile version as well. It's probably, I would say, it's just probably harder to edit things such as line items there on the mobile app. Obviously, with the real estate you do have on a phone, so unless you've got a massive phone, I would say it becomes then harder, but you can go through and obviously upload multiple documents, go through, so they can be uploaded, push through whatever it needs to be at that point in time. You can even, for example, where it's connected to Xero, you can go through and obviously publish to Xero directly from there as well. So I didn't get a chance to demo it, but you do have the ability there to split, once you've uploaded documents in, you do have the ability there to split documents into multiple documents. What it does in that case, it'll actually then treat each document as its own type and actually will split that going through. More and more document types. So that's part of where we're looking in terms of where we have maybe power compared to others maybe in the market, is the different document types that we can support. Rather than just building a couple of models and everything has to fit into those models, we're looking to support any type of document whatsoever. One thing that's coming soon, I don't think it's on my slides there, for example, is we've had requests from our beta clients that they'd love the ability to read a trial balance, and where they've taken on a new client and would like to say import that into their accounting software, is SmartDocs could read the trial balance and automatically then import and create the relevant accounts or categorize that automatically there into the different document types there going forward. What we're working on at the moment is some things that go sort of hand in hand, is an approval workflow. So where documents need to be approved before they're published, isn't a workflow built into there. Also, we've had requests for accounts payable features, so the ability for an ABA file to be created from documents that are read. That's obviously mixed there with the approval workflow, so that's some things that we will be working on. As I mentioned, in terms of further integrations, the QuickBooks integration is the next one that we're going to be working through and doing, and as well as the MIB one will be following that. As you saw, some of the contact stuff that we do is quite, obviously it does sync through, but further for that is creating rules so that you can then actually have a rule depending on the actual contact themselves. So that could be things, as you mentioned there on slides, a category, tax rate. Do you extract single line items? Do you extract all the actual line items? How do you actually treat that particular document? Do you auto publish for that particular contact, etc., etc. So we'll have a whole bunch of different rules that will be built into the contacts that you'll have full control over going through. So Daniel, I'll pass back to yourself.
Thank you, Jeevan. You did all right.
So
I was quite impressed. No comment. Look, I'm sure that many of you have sat through this now. I've seen the power of what we've been able to do, and really for us, and I know, Jeevan, I speak on behalf of the team. This is only the beginning of the opportunities that are ahead for us, and obviously, we'd love to have you on board. We would love to help us further co-create this and build this out to be something that you really can't do without, and something that you integrate within your business and your processes. And what I'm really pleased to be able to announce today is that BGL SmartDocs 360 is now live, and it is officially available, and it is officially available for you to sign up to, and that you can actually start using it for yourself, for your clients, and across your business. We're very excited to be able to announce this. It's been a long time in the making. I know that the team has worked extremely hard to get to this point, and the efforts of all the other supporting teams have worked really hard to get to this point. And this combined team effort has now put us into a position where we can officially say BGL SmartDocs 360 is officially live. One of the things that, of course, we're going to get asked is, pricing and stuff, and I'm going to come to that in a moment. But if you would like to start a free trial today, scan the QR code below, and that will take you to the necessary location to be able to set yourself up, and fill in the registration form, and then you can start using the BGL SmartDocs 360 application. But I don't like to say this, but yes, there is more. We have.
For those that are attending live, I've just launched a poll. You can just click on that button, yes, if you'd like as well, and that makes it much simpler than having to fill in the details. If obviously you'd like to fill in the details later or watching a recording, use the QR code there.
But there is more, isn't there, Jeevan? And we wouldn't be able to do something like this without putting something in your hands to be able to give you a chance to have a go at it, to use it, and obviously to see whether or not it fits within your business model and the way that you engage with your clients. So I am pleased to say that when we do officially launch the product, BGL SmartDocs 360 will be $11 per entity per month, including unlimited documents and users. So essentially for $10 plus GST, you'll have access to this functionality and this capability with, as I said before, with unlimited documents and users. And we believe that this is a really, really strong price point, and something that we think you could very well absorb and definitely gain the efficiencies from once you adopt this technology into your business and into your practices. And as a special offer and a special incentive for all of you, what we are offering today is, once you sign up and you do join our SmartDocs 360 family, we are including an initial 3-month free trial period. Absolutely no obligation. If at any point during that time you are not happy with the product, or you don't see the value in it, or you simply don't think it's right for you, just let us know, and absolutely zero obligation. You can walk away knowing that you had a good go, and there is no commitment required of you. One of the things that we do pride ourselves in, and I can openly say this, is that we do honor our commitments. We will honor your commitment. Of course, we would love you to jump on board and adopt this and make it part of your subscription model, but just give it a go. You can't lose anything by giving it a go. Now use it, test it thoroughly, and make sure that it does what you need for you to be able to better build out what you do and the services that you offer.